Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at our next installment in our community replay series, and this one features Nipski of the PST clan playing in the Shimakaze, the tier 10 Japanese destroyer. He's playing by himself, and it's some domination here on the map Shatter. So if you'd like to send in a replay to us, please send it to BIAworldofwarships, all lowercase, @gmail.com. Please include the replay file, post-battle screenshots if you have them, a brief description of the battle, and then of course, if you'd like myself or Spider to do a commentary, you can request for that in your submission too. So, we're going to look here at his very nice looking Japanese DD in the cinematic view, and then we're going to zoom in and look at that. There's two shimmies in the foreground, a Kagero in the mid, and then there's another Shimakaze on the other side of the map in the background, and as we pull up the matchmaking again, look at this. 3 shimmies, a Yu Yang and a Kagero on his team, 4 shimmies and an Akazuki on the enemy team. There are a lot of these dastardly tier 10 Jap DDs going around these days, and the reason why is because this thing was just recently buffed. You can see that its concealment is now 5.6 kilometers, which is the best of any destroyer at tier 10 by a couple hundred meters. I believe the Yu Yang can get to 5.8, 5.9, something like that. But regardless, the Shimakaze is now the stealthiest of the tier 10 destroyers. And this was a buff that, quite honestly, I think was needed. Something that really should have been done quite some time ago, because the Shimakaze, of course, is the weakest DD at tier 10 in terms of firepower, in the DPM department. Of course, on a per-shell basis, Shimakaze guns are actually really good, and the Japanese guns, the 130 millimeters, I believe, are actually pretty good alpha damage-wise on a per-shell basis. But, of course, the DPM is just so low that these things are not true gunboats. So being able to get in close and spot things with the Shimakaze a little bit better now is going to be very useful, especially when you go up against other tier 10 DDs like the Gearing, Z52, the Yu Yang, which have, pretty close levels of concealment, but now you're actually going to be able to outspot them, which is really, really nice. Now, when Nipski sent the replay submission in, he told me throughout the course of the battle to just take a look at his usage of the RPF and dropping anticipatory torpedo salvos. Now, this is a skill that you might not think is that difficult to get good at, but it really is, because you can see on the screen there's the RPF, and it shows you where the nearest enemy ship is roughly locating, but since it's an arc like that, it's kind of hard to tell exactly straight ahead when a ship is exactly straight ahead where to drop them. And of course, it just tells you where the ship is currently at. It doesn't give you any information about which way that it's potentially moving, at least not at first glance. You'd have to sit there and study it for a little bit to be able to determine something like that. But you can see that his closest pointing enemy ship is directly off his stern now, on that island that he dropped the one set of 5 torpedoes to the left of. And he also sent his other set of torpedoes, the other 10, because of course you get 15 in one full broadside, down into the sea cap. So the angle that he put himself in here is actually a very strong angle at the very beginning of a match here on Shatter, because you're able to work that angle, and you can see that there's the enemy Akazuki that did spawn in the Charlie cap, so that's really nice. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the Shimakaze is going to be able to speed up in time and get out of the way, but that is not the case, as he eats 1 torpedo on the aft. If only that torpedo would have hit a couple feet further forward underneath one of the boilers, that would have been a full health deletion to start the game off with a very nice torpedo salvo right there. But of course, he does over 13,000 points of damage, and Manteful has to get out of dodge immediately. So a very nice job right there of using the RPF to be able to land a torpedo on a ship that was, well, quite frankly, not really expecting it until the torps got spotted at the very last second. So, of course, the Shimakaze having 15 torps, you do have to wait a long time for the reload. So we'll have plenty of downtime here in this replay to talk about other things. I do want to ask you guys, do you feel that this buff to the Shimakaze was worth it as well? Again, I already mentioned it. I really think that it needed it. Something in the concealment, because, gunboats, I don't necessarily think should have best concealment in tier, because it just screws over all the other destroyers that aren't really gunboats. And, it wasn't necessarily a problem at tier 9 because the Yagumo has the best stealth there, and it's not a problem at tier 8 because the Kagero has the best stealth there. But definitely at tier 10, it's it needed to be changed. And I understand the Shimakaze is a rather large destroyer. Being able to carry 15 torpedoes is, something that you shouldn't ever scoff at. And likewise, the ship is a lot longer. And it's also, I believe, the fastest Japanese destroyer that was ever built. I think in sea trials it was able to reach like 41 knots or something like that. If I recall correctly, and I think they only made one of these things, but regardless of that, You can see his friend in the Shimakaze, who is in Foxtrot 8, just dumped all of his torpedoes downrange at the Musashi and the Akazuki that's over there. So now Nipski here is going to creep forward a little bit, making sure that that friendly Des Moines is well off to the rear of the corner of the island before he decides to drop all of his fish. And you can see here the Musashi is slowing down. So what he's going to do is drop 2 torpedo salvos a little bit to the right, and then for the third one, going to move it a little bit back to the left. Now, Flamu loves to talk about, in his destroyer videos, being able to drop dual-purpose torpedoes. And what he means by that is torpedoes that are able to hit more than one target. Now, of course, you can see the Musashi just takes, I believe, that's 3 torpedoes from his buddy in the Shimi. But you can see the Akazuki is right there at 7.6 kilometer being spotted right now. And the whole dual-purpose thing is being able to hit other ships that are, last spotted or even not there. You don't know that they're there, but you're dropping torpedoes on a likely avenue of approach in a sea lane, per se, that's usually crowded. And the back side of the sea cap, the south side of the sea cap, as you're looking at the minimap, is usually filled with a couple radar cruisers, maybe a battleship, and of course DDs. And you can see one of those torpedoes that hit did manage to hit the Akazuki, and then 2 more slam home into the Musashi. That guy already used his damage control on Zer's 17 torpedo salvo. So Nipski here is going to be able to flood this Musashi out and pick up his first kill of the game on that tier 9 free XP Japanese battleship. And of course, he also hit the Akazuki pretty hard with the torpedo as well. I'm guessing it was more on the nose, but that Akazuki is going to be well below half hit points, and it's going to make it incredibly difficult for him to get out of there because he was also pointing forward. And there we go. The Akazuki does get spotted. He actually, excuse me on that, he was able to make his way out, but not before. He does take quite a few shells there. So that Akazuki is clearly in full retreat running back. But at the moment, the score is not looking too good. His team has lost 2 DDs, while the enemy team has only lost that Musashi. And he's sitting, right now it's 250 to 501. You can see the other Shimakaze. And I say other because there's like 4 of them on the enemy team. But regardless, the guy that he hit with a torpedo at the very beginning of the game is now down to 3,000 hit points. So hopefully they're going to be able to finish off the kill there. His shells falling in, do a very nice chunk, 1,500 points of damage, puts him on 200 HP. Will he be able to secure this kill right here? Not 100% sure. That Shimakaze actually manages to kill the Akazuki with his guns and then kills off the Shima and gets a nice, sexy double strike. So a little bit of a kill secure there, but that's all right. 2 enemy DDs taken care of in quick succession, so it's pulled the scores back a little bit more manageable. And now you're going to see here, he's got 18 seconds left on the cap. The enemy Des Moines that since turned around that was near the B objective just pops his radar right here, but that guy is screwed because all those friendly ships that are going to be going around the corner are going to be able to over-penetrate his nose and, take him out pretty quickly. At least I would hope so. Now, one little tiny thing here that I would like to point out. You can see the capture area gets to 0, but then all of a sudden it goes back to 9 because somebody in the sea cap took some damage. And Nipski right here, for some reason, glides out of the cap. Now, of course, his team is guaranteed to get the sea cap. It's going to happen. But in a game like this where you're already down, almost 300 points, you really do need to get one source going. And you can see the Shimakaze on the other side of the map floods out the friendly Iowa, so now they're down by almost 400 at this point, and their team is still going to have to wait a few more seconds before they're able to get C completely secured. Now, if he would have stayed on the cap right there and not drifted out, they would have obviously been able to get quite a few more points in the amount of time that it would have taken them, that's currently going on right now for them to actually secure C. So, a little bit of a mistake right there. Whenever you're in a cap, regardless, it doesn't matter what kind of DD that you're in, whether it's a torpedo boat or a gunboat or a mix or whatever. Short of anything that has as terrible concealment as a Khabarovsk or something like that, something really large, you really do need to be getting on the caps and trying to, secure them for their team. And you can see, once again, somebody else on the sea cap got reset. And he glided off the cap almost an entire minute ago. That could have been almost a minute's worth of points for his team to be able to secure. Finally, they're able to get the sea cap, but not before they're down by almost 450 points. But regardless of that, this enemy Des Moines is going to be kicking the bucket here shortly. And you can see that he launched more torpedoes down where there's that nice little gap to the west of B. Again, not really launching at anything in particular, but that's what the Shimakaze is able to do so nicely. Just dump torpedoes down expected alleyways that enemy ships will be coming from. and then being able to take care of business with some random torpedo hits. So that's a good play. I don't mind him whatsoever for doing that. Now that the friendly Conqueror manages to take care of the Des Moines, they're going to be able to move into the B cap and push that Shimakaze that was last spotted at Echo 6 off. However, you can see his RPF is still pointing over towards the direction of the shimmy, and there we go. He's at 5.4 kilometers, and he's getting ready to go around the corner right here and see if he can ambush this guy. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to take care of business here. Now, obviously, you can see last reported, one of the other Shimakazes, I know it's probably getting a little old hearing me say that, was last spotted in Delta 3. There was also a Conqueror coming around, and then, yep, you guessed it, another Shimakaze moving north up the 2 line to try and chase down the friendly Hindenburg. And you can see that guy is way out of position, and there's not really anything he's going to be able to do. There's nobody that's even remotely close to be able to support him, so all he has to try and do is stay alive as long as possible, which we'll definitely see if he's able to do that. Now, you can see enemy shimmy all of a sudden comes around, bumps into him at about 5.5 kilometers, and right here Nipski does a very nice thing. He starts to kite away, uses his guns, and you can see 2,376 points of damage with 4 penetrations. Very nice stuff right there. And then he launches his next salvo downrange, and it misses. But he was still able to get a really nice chunk on that guy, so very good stuff. Now, another little mistake right here. He gets his engine knocked out while at full speed and using his speed boost. When you do get your engine knocked out, and you're going that fast with the speed boost going, it really doesn't slow you down all that much. Now, you can see, obviously, he is undetected, but you'd have to think that that other Shimakaze launched his torpedoes. And it's a very good thing that he was going fast, because he gets his engine knocked out again. And I'm also going to guess that he probably has propulsion modification 2 on, because he was able to slow down very nicely right there. But he still has to wait 45 more seconds, and now that he has slowed down to a considerable degree, this is actually a very, very bad spot to be in. He is creeping forward at less than 10 knots, still trying to speed up a little bit, but you can see just how long it takes, and he is sailing more or less broadside to another Shimakaze's potential 15 torpedo salvo. So, obviously, the repair does come back nice and quickly on a destroyer, but that about 30-some seconds worth of time that he had his engine knocked out could have been potentially very, very catastrophic, and I cannot stress it enough how lucky he is to not really get hit by too much, and also having that second Shimakaze not drop his torpedoes at him. Very, very lucky indeed. However, this enemy, Shima, Jesus, I'm saying Shima a lot, decides to try and chase him down, and, you know, trying to get into a gunfight with 2 shimmies, the guy that's kiting away easily has the advantage. And I know that that's generally the case for most engagements, but especially so with this thing. You know, it has 2 turrets on the rear, much like a Z50 or a Z46. So being able to shoot over the shoulder like that is much easier for the guy that is kiting away. However, the score really hasn't swung back. His team has lost 5 ships at this point. The enemy team has lost 5 ships at this point. And you can see that that guy, before he kicked the bucket, did manage to get 1 set of 5 torpedoes off, but he was able to do some nice torpedo beats right there and get out of dodge. However, his team has captured 2 of the 3 objectives now, and the enemy team is kind of in a little bit of a pickle right here. You can see that he's getting ready. There's that Des Moines that's over there, well to the west, that only has 8,200 hit points. The Conqueror is moving in, but taking some damage as well. And then that other Shima that just got spotted for a brief second that was going right in front of his friends, the Conqueror and the Kagero, should be able to get taken care of pretty quickly. The Conqueror does manage to take out the Des Moines, and there we go. The Shima does get spotted at 5,500 hit points, but he realizes he needs to make the smart play, and he decides not to go barreling around the corner of the island. Now, I'll be honest with you, the enemy team's positioning right now is very poor. If I was that enemy Shima, Project Love Live, I would definitely go flying around the corner and try to take out that Conqueror, because of course it has the ridiculous heal, and trying to get frags here at the mid to late part of the game when your team really needs them, is something that I would have definitely done. So I think that was a mistake on the enemy's part, but Nipski here is going to take full advantage of that and show once again why the Shima's torpedo salvos are just unparalleled, even though this ship has seen some nerfs and it's not as strong as it used to be. He dumps 2 torpedo salvos, 10 of course, downrange at the conch, and then he uses his second torpedo salvo to shoot at the smoke screen that was just set up by the enemy Shimakaze. Now, the very important thing, look what he put in chat. What a nice guy. Stop, I'm torping, don't push. He's letting his buddy in the Conqueror know, and he's also clicking on F5. Hey man, do not push around the corner. I have torpedoes coming in, and it also, as you can see, he pings where the Yamato and the Des Moines are as well. Hey guys, do not push around the corner. We're good. My torpedoes are going to be able to take care of business. There's no need. Now, it's a very risky play, but he was a very good teammate, and he let his buddies know, hey guys, don't do it. And that's something that you'd think should happen very often, but it really doesn't. And you can see there, 2 torpedoes slam home into the Conqueror, gets his first kill, and then one of them slams home into the Shima to pick up a nice double strike, pick up his 4th kill of the game, and now hopefully he's going to be able to finish it off in style here with the Kraken. He picks up the Confederate, and then some extremely poor accuracy right here, and he's not going to be able to secure this kill. Those Nipski, my man, those are not some very good salvos right there. But his buddy in the Hindenburg manages to finish off the kill. And of course, in chat, he's going to be like, no, my Kraken. But you know what? That's all right, because in quick succession, 3 enemy ships kick in the bucket. Now his team has the lead and all 3 caps, 682 to 612, and that is going to continue to go up very nicely. And he's up to 119,000 points of damage, which, while this is, of course, is not the most monster Shimakaze game that you've ever seen, I really do feel that it showcased the RPF and utilizing your torpedoes effectively, utilizing the newfound stealth on this ship to be able to take advantage of it. And, you know, this was a very solid game. So, yeah, with that being said, we're now going to take a look at the post-battle results. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at Nipski's post-battle results. 378,000 credits received and 2.8k total experience earned. He picked up Confederate and Double Strike, dealing 119,000 points of damage off of 39 shell hits and 8 torpedoes. He sank 4 enemy ships and caused 3 fires. Taking a look at the team score, 2,723 base experience. Very solid stuff right there. I'd also like to give a shout out to the friendly Hindenburg, who managed to stay alive over there by himself and also had 2,140 base experience. And then, of course, the friendly Yamato as well. Anybody that gets over 2k base experience in a game should definitely be happy with their performance. Taking a look at the detailed report, 19,000 damage dealt with the guns, 10,000 other with the fires and the flooding, and 89,000 points of damage with the 75 torpedoes that were launched in that game. So, very good stuff right there. And then lastly, look at the distance traveled. 93 kilometers. He was all over the map, making his presence felt and securing a very good comeback for his team. So, once again, Nipski, thank you for sending in the replay. It was a pleasure to feature it, and we hope that you keep coming back to our channel to check out our great content. So with that being said, this is, of course, the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, sharing it with your friends, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated, and have a fantastic day.